What's up, peeps? How y'all doing today? Good.
When you're playing defense against a Jim Harbaugh team, is there a certain trait that you know you have to battle?
Well, you know they're going to want to run the ball, and they're hard-headed about running the ball, and it's going to be tough, hard knock, and they ain't going to turn it over. So it's like, and it's no secret what you're getting because they got 290-pound tight end and 290-pound fullback. So it's kind of telling you what you're about to get. So that's where you battle right there.
You also got a big back in Gus Herbert, you guys have
Right.
faced before. Just talk about the challenges of maybe trying to stop that guy before he starts.
Well, the thing is, what they do offensively is kind of, well, they pull and trap and do all that stuff, and they want to get downhill. So it just poses some problems because it creates some matchup disadvantages for us. So that'll be the chess match right there.
How would you assess a quarterback like Justin Herbert? He's not like the 2021 version of him throwing 38 touchdowns. He's more of an efficient guy, only throwing one interception. How does that pose a challenge for the defense?
Well, you know what, he's still talking about arguably a top 10 quarterback across anybody boards in the league that has all the arm strength, athletic, can run, can make all the throws. But the way they're utilizing them in their system, they're buying into the culture change. We're running the ball. Then when everybody come up to run, we throw it over your head. And that's exactly what they're doing. McConkey is having a heck of a year, but, you watch the routes he's getting. Everybody getting sucked up, trying to stop him. He fast and elusive and making a lot of plays. So it's all what you see from the way they're utilizing the quarterback is kind of into the culture they wanted. We all know he can throw it 40 times a game if need be, but that's just not the way they play.
When a team is like that and they're kind of trying to lull you to sleep there before they take that shot, I mean, how much does that make it discipline even more of kind of a challenge, I guess, for a defense?
Well, from our standpoint, if you look at it and watching their games, most of the time in this league, it's always something like 4 minute. You practicing 4-minute offense. These guys, the way they play, when you have two scores, could be 14 minutes to go in the game, and they're in 4-minute mode. So that changes your whole realm of thought. Is like more pressure because if you look at them as a team as a whole, we run the ball, play good defense, and we don't turn it over. Well, that's a recipe for winning games, and that's what they do. So our deal is, one, try to disrupt them. Two, try to create turnovers on a team that don't turn it over. So you got a multitude of challenges right there.
Kacy, despite all the injuries since the bye week, you guys are giving up maybe the fewest points, these last 3 weeks, even with all the injuries. What's been the difference, do you think, since you've been?
Well, the thing is, kind of as you kind of get at this stage of the year, the team has told us what they are. And, now we can't do this. They told us we can't do this. It's evident we can't do this. But also they showed us we can do this, so let's do what they can do. And that's kind of the thing you face as a coach. You want to do this. They are not allowing you to do this. They're telling you we can do this, and that's kind of where we are. We're figuring out what we can do, and let's try to do it the best we can.
How much of the bye week is, I guess, a catalyst for that, because you are doing a lot of self-scouting and meeting during that time?
Right.
I mean, was that kind of a catalyst for
Well,
this? And being able to set your
it was huge for us because everybody does the same thing. You do all the self-scouts, see what you're good at, what you aren't. You got to look at the personnel you have available and what can they do. How can you get your best people on the field? How can you get them in the best position to make plays? And that's kind of where we are. That's what we saw coming out the bye, and now we're making a conscious effort to do that.
Along those lines, and Greg pointed this out the other day, I think he said you had 25 snaps where you just had one linebacker who's just Levante, who obviously has been that leader, right? But he's still making plays. We talk about the other guys kind of ageless, but just in terms of calming things down for a lot of new faces that rotate in there, how important has that been?
Well, having Vontae in there it's been golden for us. But then the utilizing of our different packages, it's kind of, I think I spoke to you guys earlier in the year, we're having a unique situation of, one, Logan is making strides, but now you got Kalijah back, so where does he fit? Now people giving us a lot of 11, so now we're able to kind of get him on the field, and it helps us coverage-wise because we keep the nickel on the field, so it's kind of letting us play some games with people that's, we're so far so good.
You guys you're in that package out of necessity with the injuries, but when you're in that 5-1-5, what do you call that, and what's the key to operating in that as much as you guys do?
It's really just base defense. We just substitute a guy for a guy, and then from our deal, what we're trying to do is kind of go back to what we talked about earlier. Try to put our guys in the most advantageous position because now we want to try to dictate protection. We want to try to being in a five-man front a lot of the times. Now, who's the fourth rusher? They let them decide, and maybe we can get a bad matchup, one of our outside backers on, or, Vita turn somebody loose, or that's kind of what we're trying to get, and kind of match the protections where if we got five bigs, usually you go man. So we got five guys with 5 one-on-ones, and somebody needs to win.
Kacy, can you kind of speak to the year that Yaya Diaby's having? He's better against the run, he knows your system better.
Right.
Pressures are way up.
Right.
Just that one column, right, that sack column
Right.
is the only thing that's down, but he's doing a lot of other things right. Could you
Right.
just kind of speak to that and maybe the pressures and sacks and how you guys look?
Well, the thing you said is like the numbers are up across the board, and he's the ultimate team player. Anything you ask of him, he's willing to do. And our system at that position is not easy to learn. And then the sack numbers, I think I spoke to you guys about it before. This sacks come in bunches. You can have this right here, and you have a 4-sack game, and everybody think you're the greatest rusher in the world. Just keep working at it, keep working. And the thing you see with him is his technique is improving. You keep working, they'll come.
You guys recently signed Deion Jones. Can you just speak to what the vision kind of is for him, if you're willing to do that, or just kind of, what you guys saw and how we can help this team? I know obviously there's been a lot of injuries at inside linebacker.
Really, it's just kind of injuries, just making sure, based on their timetable of return, make sure we got coverage. And you're still talking about a veteran player with athleticism that's made plays that kind of fit what we do. So we're just trying to secure ourselves just in case.
Injuries are not an excuse, right? And you don't have any control over them. The players don't want to get hurt. They don't have control over them. But you guys, with the exception of maybe your corners on offense, were super healthy last year.
Right.
Now the pendulum has swung. Just how frustrating is that from a coaching standpoint to have to pull guys from the practice squad, sign guys off the street, just to cobble and piece a lineup together?
That's the hardest challenge. Sometimes that's why they call you coach. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you fight. You kind of mention it, and we think back and we talk about it all the time. Our Super Bowl year, we stayed extremely healthy for the most part. And this year but that's the key to this league. The healthy teams kind of go on runs. The teams that are healthy, you got to have some guys that wasn't counted on in the beginning to step up and keep you afloat till you get some people back or continue on.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.